Netflix's new series, Fate, the Winx Saga, helped me get through a weekend while I was under the weather. Though I did not mind the show, many fans of the original cartoon said no bueno. While watching the series, I saw many examples of the PR four-step process that you should use when you plan any PR program. So if you're an entrepreneur or a new communications professional planning a PR program for 2021, or you're just curious how I'm going to tie together a fairy show to the PR four-step process, stay tuned. Welcome to Coffee with me, myself, and Ivy. I'm just your coffee-loving PR pro sharing social media tips, communication industry best practices with pop culture examples. Before I explain the PR four-step process with examples from the Fate Winx Saga, let's start off with a short motivational quote. It always seems impossible until it's done. Nelson Mandela. Now, I must say, thanks to these two videos from YouTubers I love, they put things into perspective about why people may not like this new Netflix series. One thing I learned from one of the videos is if you're a fan of the Nickelodeon Winx Club cartoon, Netflix made too many changes to this new series where it messed up the nostalgia for you. One thing to remember, I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, but if you mess with a brand formula like the Winx Club, then of course you may make your audience mad or you may lose them. And it looks like Netflix has lost some potential viewers because they made too many changes to their fantasy series because it looks totally different. If you look at the cartoon, there's more characters, it's brighter. This show is kind of darker and has a lot of overcast. However, that's what I like about the show. I like movies or TV shows that are kind of filmed with a dark lens, like Twilight, for example, because I don't know, it soothes me. But I have my own feelings about the show. But again, I was under the weather when I first watched the show. But let me give you a little background. Fate, the Winx Saga is a fantasy teen drama series about a Cali native named Bloom attending a magical boarding school in the otherworld. There she meets Hannah, Princess of Celeria, Aisha, Tara, and Musa. And they learn how to master their magical powers while navigating love, rivalries, monsters that even threaten their very existence. The monsters were really scary, actually. Very scary. Now, though I liked the vibe of the show and how it was shot and it seemed like everything was kind of mostly dark, I will say one thing. Well, two things, actually. First, I need more backstories. I only got some background on some of the characters. Also, one thing I must say, Netflix, please stop making teen shows that are very similar to 90s teen shows. This is nothing close to Euphoria. However, one thing about Euphoria on HBO, it sounds like teenagers of this time. This show sounded like something from the 90s or the 2000s. And I'm in my 30s and I know teenagers do not talk like that. Now, disclaimer, I'm going to use this show as examples for the PR four-step process. But if you want more in-depth reviews, check out these two videos. They're both from YouTubers I love. They really break down the show from different angles, especially the Modern Girls one. So one of the storylines in the show, Aisha informs Bloom like, hey, I think you have a different origin story than people are really telling you, just based on her magic alone. And so that piqued Bloom's interest and she started doing the PR four-step process without even knowing it. Bloom started doing research, planning, implementation, evaluation. So when Aisha told Bloom, hey, you may need to look into your family tree a little bit more, Bloom wasted no time doing the first step of the PR four-step process. Bloom started doing research. She started going through the history books at the school. She started interviewing the staff and like really questioning them like, hey, I think you're not telling me everything I should know. You need to do the same thing when it comes to research. Analyze the situation of your PR program. Decide if you're going to use secondary or primary research, informal or formal, quantitative or qualitative. Now, I know I may say too many words that you may not understand or you probably already know them. But if you want me to explain this in more detail, please leave a comment below. After Bloom completed her research, she started the next step of the PR four-step process, which is planning. She connected with a girl who I really think is Harry Potter's Bellatrix Lestrange long-lost daughter named Beatrice. Yeah, like they have similar names. Anywho, who is actually the villain of the show this year. Well, one of the villains of the show. And while partnering with this villain, she made plans to find out more about her origin story. So planning in the PR four-step process, this is when you come up with your goals, your objectives, your strategies, your tactics. I understand when you do a program, you just want to get started, but please do not do any PR program without a goal and an objective, a strategy, and a tactic. And again, if you want me to break these things down more, please leave a comment below. So after Bloom got through planning with Bellatrix Lestrange's daughter, she moved to the next phase of implementation. And with implementation, she started not only using Bellatrix Lestrange to solve her problem, she started using her friends for help to solve this problem as well. In the implementation part of the PR four-step process, this is when you actually start taking action to the planning. You choose which communication channels you're going to use to put out your messages. You start using different people to help put the plan in place. Now for the last step of the PR four-step process, we're going to move away from Bloom for a second and let's talk about the staff in this series. The staff had a moment where they had to protect the students from danger. So they were trying to keep the school safe, shut all the doors, close all the windows, move everybody to one place, but they were really trying to protect their students. But while they were trying to protect their students, they noticed when the danger finally got near, it went away. And they evaluated, why did the danger not try to get us when we're all ready to fight back? Why did it leave? And they did some evaluation and realized, oh, the danger, or the monster really, did not want us. They want something else. This is a perfect example of the evaluation part of the four-step process. You do all these things and you evaluate, did it work? Did you achieve your goals? Did you achieve your objectives? Did your strategies and tactics work? Did you reach your key publics? I can't believe I left out key publics earlier, but did you reach your publics? Did you achieve your goals? Because if you don't evaluate what you do, and I see this is a common problem that most people do when they do a program, they do it and they don't evaluate it. They never evaluate, they never do research. Please do all four steps. But make sure you evaluate, did your PR program work? Did you achieve your goals and objectives? Did your strategies and tactics work? That way, if you do another PR program, you know, oh, this is something that actually works. Let's try this again. Or you can try something new that will be more efficient. Comment below, are you going to watch the show? Have you checked it out yet? Or do you want me to talk about the PR four-step process more? Thank you for watching this video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell and join me every week for social media tips, communication industry best practices with pop culture examples. Remember,